It's very nice to be with you all. My name is Masoud Movahed, and I'm a postdoctoral fellow at the Center for Social Norms and Behavioral Dynamics. I recently defended my doctoral dissertation in sociology at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. My work focuses on income inequality and intergenerational income mobility, as well as wealth inequality. Today, I'd like to present one of my papers that focuses on the processes of intergenerational income mobility that was co-authored with a former colleague of mine, Tiffany Niemann. The title of the paper is Intergenerational Income Mobility in the United States, a Racial-Spatial Account. And if I show you a map of intergenerational income mobility in the context of the US, you will see that there is a great degree of spatial dependence. That is to say, counties and localities that are highly mobile, the darker shade, that are highly economically mobile, are clustered together in the Midwest and in the Great Plain, and those that are less mobile or low mobility counties are clustered together in the South. And mobility here in this context means the mean income rank of individuals in adulthood who grew up to parents whose income was at the bottom 25 percentile. So we're looking at individuals' mean income rank in adulthood, but we know as a matter of certainty that they grew up in households whose income was at the bottom 25 percentile. They grew up in households who were poor. And that's a great and novel dimension of this new estimates of income mobility that shows the upward trajectory of individuals across US for both white and Black children. So we substantiate our claim by conducting the Moran's-I test, and Moran's-I test signifies that there is a great degree of spatial dependence. And when there is a great degree of spatial dependence, conducting or running regression models that are conventional, such as OLS, would be the violation of its major assumption, and that is the IID assumption, identically and independently distributed error terms. And that's not the case with the spatially dependent data. So we try to parameterize spatial proximity in order to account for this spatial dependence, to have less biased estimates when we look at the determinants of intergenerational income mobility in the context of the US. We also have race-specific models. We do not assume that what predicts income mobility for white individuals would be the same as that of Black individuals. If I show you the map of white mobility, only white children, you will see that there is a great degree of spatial dependence. Counties that are mobile are in the Midwest and in the Great Plain region, and low mobility counties for white children are in the South. So there is, again, a great degree of spatial dependence. For Black mobility, that's less of a case because there's a lot of missing data because there aren't sufficient number of African Americans residing in those counties to be able to meaningfully compute and aggregate at county level. Chetty, who produced this data, could not do this. And there is a great degree of missing data for only Black mobility because, again, lack of population and lack of number to compute it in a meaningful way. I'd like to talk about the independent variables that we have in this study. The outcome variable, as I said, is income mobility, income rank of individuals. That's the outcome variable. Our independent variables are as the following: local government expenditure, local, not federal, local government, county government expenditure, local tax rate, social capital index, teacher-student ratio, the index of racial segregation, income inequality. We examine whether income inequality bears on mobility chances of individuals, unemployment rate, and manufacturing, changes in manufacturing employment, because there is a lot of conversation that deindustrialization of the US is one of the reasons that the financial security of households in the US are threatened. So we have a measure of that as well. There is a great degree of variation across independent variables and across regions in the US. So the Northeast, for example, the green color in the bar plot has lowest level of county level expenditure, but then the Pacific region has the highest level. So there's a great degree of variation across regions in the US. We draw on a spatial regime error model, and this W here signifies the weight matrix, that spatial weight matrix that parameterizes spatial spatial proximity of counties in order to give us less biased estimates. Very briefly, I'd like to highlight the results of our study. If you compare the results for OLS, which is the orange coefficient, and then spatial error model, which is the spatial model that we draw on, you will see that there is a great degree of reduction in the effect size. So each independent variable has two coefficients because we run two models to compare them. And, we'll see that OLS results are quite biased. Once we parameterize a space, the effect size reduces for some of the variables. For manufacturing, for example, the effect size reduces. And this reduction in the effect size is clear. One thing I'd like to highlight is that Gini coefficient positively predicts income mobility for white children. And so does racial segregation. Across model specifications, they positively predict income mobility for white children. In other words, white people benefit from income inequality and segregation. White people benefit from these social problems. But then Black mobility, when we look at the mobility for only Black individuals, race-specific models, we'll see that in the spatial model, local tax rate is not significant. The significance altogether faded away when we parameterize the space, and also Gini coefficient and racial segregation that positively predicted white mobility, they turn negative. So Black people suffer from income inequality across US counties in terms of mobility chances. They suffer from segregation, but white people benefit from it. And that's substantiated through all of the results that we have, the spatial results that we have. I'd like to highlight the major finding of our study. There is a lot more in terms of regional analysis, but the major findings are as the following. One is that we explicitly, this is the first study that parameterizes space in order to understand mobility processes. And we notice that results are going to change once we parameterize the space. And we also have race-specific models. We do not assume that what predicts income mobility for white children is the same as Black children. And these are the major contributions of this study. Thank you very much for your time. If you would like to reach me, my email is available. I look forward to your comments. Thank you.